Hi guys, welcome back to the Creation Lab Soapery channel. Today I'm going to be making my second soap of the day. As you guys are all probably the same thing on lockdown, so my house is a little bit noisier than normal. We got some people in the back that have been playing non-stop a computer game, so you'll hear a little bit of talking in the back. Just try and ignore it. You know, you gotta make do with what you got. Today we are making our last soap for our fantasy theme, and we're making my favorite. So get your magic dance on. We're gonna be making a soap. Give you a hint. I had to bring out my Goblin King. This is Jareth. We're gonna be making a soap representing him and the whole thing with Labyrinth. So we've got different elements. A lot of thought went into this. It may not be everybody's thing, but this is one that I wanted to do. So again, you're gonna get one of my cheesy drawings. So, you know, this is kind of what we're gonna be doing. So I'm gonna have, and it probably won't be as big, but I'm gonna have the layers representing the pajamas for Toby. Then we're gonna be doing, now Jareth wears a bunch of different costumes into Labyrinth, but one of him is black with little green and blue specks, and so we're gonna be doing this. And then between either, depending on the digital remastered or what, it's between gold and actually a pale green that you see on the dress. So that's why I drew the green, but I'm decided that I'm gonna just go with twinkling and a little bit of gold. And we're gonna have an out in bed, and I'm gonna show you that real quick. I'm gonna show you everything and tell you what we're doing before we go in. Now it was a white out, and it had a little bit of yellow, but I wanted to have, so it's not just so one colored, I put a little bit of gold just kind of around it. That gold, once you wash, like your first or second time, will come off. It's just a light mica. And then I put a clock on here because you may not have paid that much attention to it, but I mean that I have. The clock stuck 13, and that's what she was racing against. So after we do the cut, we're gonna put these little clocks on there. There's only 12, there's not 13. I did some of these, and we're gonna mix it into the black, and so that's how we're gonna get our blue and green speckles. And then on top of here, we're gonna get, I got marbles, and so like you can see these, they resemble his crystal ball. So we've got those things, and that's going to be on top. Now I could have made it out of melt and pour, but I love how the light actually dances on this, and in person you'll see it better. And I mean, you can even see fragments of what's behind there. That over the soap represents more, and I thought it would be kind of cool. And it'll go along with something I'm going to show you in a minute. And then right here we got a rock. And for those of you guys that follow and know Labyrinth, Ludo has where he calls rocks his friends, and he calls us friends. And so I've got these little, and I chose, like with these polished rocks, I could have done blue and green or whatever, but I purposely chose ones that were more natural looking. And so we're gonna put some of Ludo's friends on it. And then there was so many elements I could have incorporated. I mean, I love the little worm, you know. She did lipstick arrows. I could have done an arrow. There was just a ton of things, but one of the things that I loved, I mean, through most of the movie was Hoggle and Sarah's relationship. And Hoggle had his bag of what he called shinies. Now this one's see-through, but when you order this soap, you're gonna get your own little bag of shinies, and when that rock and that little marble comes off, you can add it in there. And then we have made bracelets, because that's what Sarah gave to Hoggle, and that was a bracelet. And so, and hers was mostly red, but we kind of did it. And then we do have another bead that kind of represents, and this one's kind of like a cracked one, but this one's the actual looks. And when you see it in person, you know, you can see. And each one of these bracelets are different, but they all will have one of these on there, and they'll have red notes and stuff. So that will come into your bag of shinies. And then when you do your, get your stuff you can put it in there. And you can collect your own little thing. It's up to you with what you do, but we wanted to add that in there. And then I was contemplating, okay, so what kind of fragrance should we do? And like I said, a lot of thought went into that. So Jareth gives Hoggle something to give to Sarah. Do you guys remember? That if some of you might have, some of you probably didn't. He gave him a peach to give to her. So our scent is going to be Peach Jubilee. So it's going to be a peach scented soap. We're going to be doing a little bit of golden stuff on top and just doing the best we can do. After you watch this video, if you order or not, go and watch Labyrinth. It's a really good show to watch, and introduce your kids. If they've never seen that one, they have to watch that one. As an adult, I didn't notice as a child I didn't notice something, but as an adult, when they're having the battle in the little village, look at that fountain. I think that is something that I missed, where the water comes out of. And I was watching it, it was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I missed that. But short of playing the magic dance, which I love that song, you have to do infringement, copyrights and that. Let's go ahead and make this soap. This soap video may be a little long, but it's Labyrinth. It's going to be having few different things to it. So first I'm going to start with, you guessed it, I'm going to change my camera angle, and bear with me. All right, we're going to put our lye solution into our oils and blend it up. And in this batch, I've actually put some sodium lactate into it too. So sodium lactate kind of makes it so that it hardens a little bit better. So we're gonna do that. It won't harden now, it's hardened after it cures, I should say. So it's not an accelerator, it's just, it cures harder. So I'm gonna mix this up right here. Okay, so now I did my big recipe because that's usually what I do when I do my high top soaps. But with the green and the blue going in, it's probably going to change it quite a bit. And so I brought to the side, I brought a little mold so that I can add any extras, and then we'll have some, little bloom flowers with this soap. So, all right, so we're going to go and we're going to start with doing the red and the white, and it's just going to be 2 layers. It doesn't have to be really thick, and try and make it as even as possible with my eyes. Funny note is during the I call it the apocalypse, but during the pandemic, when we're all on lockdown, I happened to break my glasses. And I have a titanium plate under my eye, so I can't do contacts anymore, so I haven't had any of those. And so I'm using my old pair of glasses, but you could definitely tell my eyes changed a lot since my last prescription because it doesn't quite work. All right, so I'm gonna start out trying to do this fire crackle mica, but I can't remember. I'm trying to not do really red mica because sometimes it bleeds. But I'm going to try this, but if it doesn't go to the red color that I want, then I will add a little bit of that in, just because we got to have red and I don't want it to be too pink. And then this right here, we want it to be white. And so I'm going to mix this up. It settles a little bit on the bottom. And this is my titanium dioxide, and I'm just going to pour a little bit in there. And then we're going to add our fragrance, a little bit in each one, and save it for the rest for the other stuff. All right, and we're going to start with the white. Okay. That's about right, red or white color that I will like. Oh, and I think this is gonna work just fine. And hopefully it cures that way that it... Okay, I'm gonna take the spatula just because I only have one of these and we're gonna be using it, but the next color is black. The white one's probably gonna be, the top is gonna be a little bit of a different story, but I'm gonna stir this just on the edge and see. Get that. There we go. All right, so we're gonna start with moving this right here. Your angle's probably a little off. And so we're gonna just pour in the white, cover it and kind of guess like, and see how much is left in there. I think that should be good. And I got a little bit right here, so I'm gonna just do a little wipe. And let's see, I think this is pretty runny. So we're gonna give it a second and see if we can let it set up a little bit. I didn't think that part out. I just want it so it doesn't go through. The good thing is the white is a little strong, better, so we'll see. I'm gonna just try and do just a little bit and see how it kind of sits on it. If it sits or if it looks like it's going through. Just do a tiny bit and see how that goes. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that, but it does seem like it's sitting on top. So I'm gonna kind of take it a little slow. That's the good thing with TD, it sits up a little bit. But if you get it and it's not exactly like I planned it, and the little layers are not so defined, you know what I meant. Should be okay. I'm just going really slow because it's kind of, you can see that it is thickening up, so that's good. But this scent said it's not an accelerator. I'm hoping that stays true. But even because that I find, I don't know if it's my recipe or what, but a lot of the times what is supposedly doesn't necessarily come to be true for me. So that's why I do the fragrance oils as I do the layers. So I don't have all my black mixed up and all that. I'm going to get to that in a second. And of course it's being a little thick. So then I'm going to kind of take my spatula and try and spread it out. So we wanted enough for a couple of layers. Let's see, it's kind of being a little bit of a pain. So I'm gonna really work with it because that should be enough to cover, at least in this area. And see if I can spread it out and get it to go. I'm gonna go try and see it this way. And I've got it to be quite a bit of mess on the sides, it looks like already. And then we'll see about doing this. And what I really need to do is get multiple cameras. I need to do a lot, but you know, my passion is the soap. The video's not so much, but it's something my daughter and I discussed, and she says you got to get with the times, and I keep joking, so show me how to edit. And so, but my future son-in-law is going to show me that. All right, now we're going to go, and I'm just going to try and clean up this, keep it as clean as possible. These are just, I've showed these before. I get these bamboo, biodegradable. Bamboo's a really good biodegradable, not as much impact on the environment kind of thing. So, and I'm gonna need another one. It's a good thing I have them right here. It's also by using the wipes, less wash. Even though like washing is okay, you're not throwing something away. With all the water you use, not that I'm one that worries like a ton. I'm not like, you know, crazy about everything. Not that that's bad if you are. I'm just saying that's not me. We're gonna go with the next layer. And I'm gonna just see. And this is that one layer, as you know, was so thick. So we're just gonna go ahead and try and get it so that it is in there and then spread it around where I need to go and then scrape and fill in the edges. But anyway, what I was saying is, like, you know, for me, I just try and be smart with some things, and, you know, try and have a less impact. But, you know, it's really sad because we used to recycle really well in this household. We recycled anything and everything that you could. But then in my town, that it's a kind of a small town, and their drop-off center, they said that it cost too much to have manpower and to go through things. And, you know, we didn't even have, like the big cities have, where people went and picked up your stuff at the curb. We had to go and pack it up and go into town, and I'm about 20 minutes out of town. And so we did that all the time, and we saved up, and, you know, so we held on to that in our house. But then they took it away, and we were just like, that's so sad. About the only thing that I know that they recycle here is there's a steel plant that you can take metal and steels and stuff like that too, and they'll do recycling for that. And then they have Walmart takes your plastic bags, so we save all plastic bags. All right, and then I'll do a cleanup again on that white. And then we're gonna get this red in here, and it's really thick, so it's gonna be doing a little bit. And I'm gonna do a little tap. Hopefully the tap don't mess too much, but wanna try and get, anytime any soap is getting a little thick on you, it has a high chance of having air bubbles and stuff in it. So we wanna try and make sure we get that out the best that we can, any air bubbles and such. So, all right, so work with me a little. So, and I'm sorry if you can't see so well. We're just trying to get it so that it goes edge to edge and all the way to the back. You know, trying to do our best. If I was smart, I probably wouldn't put any fragrance oil and just let it be smooth and flow in there, but you know, it's not bad. Okay, and then I'm gonna do a tap and then fill in the rest. See what we can get, and then I'm just gonna try anywhere I see white to make sure that I put this in those areas. And so, I'm sure in the other room there's an interesting conversation going on. They're playing an online RPG, which is a role-playing game that is Star Wars. So, and don't get me wrong, I play a lot of games, but I'm just not that big of a Star Wars fan. And now my son Zachary's probably going, "What? I'm not watching your videos no more, Mom." Sorry, Zach, it's the truth. There's a lot of things I like you don't like. It's who we are. We're all different. That's what makes the world cool. All right, and I'll do one more tap. And then I'll do a wipe down. Kind of make it so when I put that black in, that it's just the black and it's not all this, because see, you see that side's all clean? Look at this side. So we're gonna just go and clean that up right there. Get that little bit that's right there. Okay. I'm gonna go through a lot of wet wipes on this soap. Oh my goodness. But I still like making soap. And that peach scent is really good. I considered using cake scent because at one time Hoggle said it's a piece of cake. But anybody's a soaper knows the cake scent is a really big discolorator. It's discolorator. You know what I mean. And it likes to turn it brown. So with that said, I want my soap to be the colors I plan. So, And I am gonna just do a little quick wipe of this too to get some of that red. Well, it's gonna be black, so need to probably plan to get a little cup to do that for future. Ideas come to me after the fact. All right, so, and then this here, I'll just give it a little swirl before I do that, and we'll pour it in, and this is gonna be our black and green and blue. Okay. And then for that one, we're gonna be using this black oxide. I could do activated charcoal, but kind of been liking the black oxide lately. I first learned about it and saw it with Katie, and I decided I wanted to try it, and I'm telling you, it does not work in melt and pour. At least my experience was it wasn't the best one in melt and pour. But for cold process, it's really good because you can get the dark black. All right, we're gonna mix. And I almost forgot my fragrance oil, so we'll mix. And then I'm gonna just grab some of that and put that in. And then some for the top. And then that actually made it so that it was a little bit more liquid again. It won't fool me though, it will be the other way shortly, I'm sure. All right, and we're gonna do scrape as much as we can. You know, one thing I miss is working with a partner. You know, she's on lockdown, serious lockdown because of her lupus. But I would be like, Melanie, can you clean this real quick before we do the next layer? But, you know, I'm by myself, so you make do with what you do. All right, so then here, we're gonna be just putting some of these in. And probably, might as well just do them all. They probably would be okay for them all. And I just made, what I did when I made these, if you wanna do, and I've seen where people do the grater, but because they kind of look like blocks to me when I was watching it. I kind of wanted to make them blocky and not so stringy. Not that you probably will be able to tell in here, but you never know. I just used one of these molds and poured a thin layer, and then I got it, and then I cut it into thin strips, and I cut it like that. And then I went a teeny bit over it again, and just kind of went over it again one more time to kind of chop up, make sure it was really fine. Now, you're probably, with this black, not gonna see those colors so well. I'm hoping that when you do the cut, you see the red and green. If I'm wrong, we just learned a lesson today. All right, so this bottom is all nice and hard, so we're just gonna plop it in there. And I might have, shoulda, coulda, woulda made them a little bit bigger and maybe they'd be more defined, but we'll see how it is. I think it's gonna be good. It's just, I'm a little shocked with how black it looks when it's all in there, but we'll see. You never know what develops and what things look like until you cut them. So I've only been soaping for a couple of years and just been experimenting with the little craziness. This is what I would consider a little bit of a crazier soap and things. And so you guys are on my journey of learning what's right, what's wrong, what works, what doesn't. And so maybe that you'll learn some things that I do that doesn't work. And, you know, and you'll learn when you do your own soap to do it differently. So, of course, I got black all over me. Okay, and we'll just do this. And then we're gonna do another top down and get that as even as possible. And do a little cleanup again. Oh, I love the smell of the soap. I figured that if this doesn't turn out the way I want, then, you know, that's okay. But if it turns out the way I see in my head, and everybody loves it as much as I do, we may make a second go of it and make another one. Right now there's only going to be 9 bars, and because they come with bracelets, it's going to be a little bit more. we're still, I gotta calculate the cost of everything. But, you know, it's gonna be about the $12 to $15 range. But you're getting a bracelet too, and bracelets can be that price on their own for just a bracelet. It can be $5, you know, or $8, just depending on where. But you got a nice soap, and you can do the magic dance in the shower. So, and I'm just gonna be mixing into here because I figured why do another container when it's right here. Probably that black put a little bit of a gray tinge to it. But that's okay. I'm gonna try and see if I can fix it a little bit with this. Next time I should have a little bottle just to do a little swirl of hot water. Nope, I think that fixed it right there. For the most part, I'm gonna get it mixed. And so, like you can see, it's got a teeny bit of a different color. We'll see how it works, but I think that is pretty good. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take my spatula, because all this up here, I'm gonna scrape it. And then hand blend it in. Okay, we want this to get a little thick for piping. And so, but you see how quickly this stuff does go. I'm debating on if I should put just a teeny bit more TD in it. Decisions. Yeah, let's go ahead. I'm not gonna put too much. That should do it, and then I'll do another blend again. Yeah, that's really better. And it will help it thicken up. Okay, and then I'll do scraping on the sides again. Yeah, okay, that's gonna be good. Now, everybody has their way of doing this. This is not the professional. I've got a Maverick cup, because if I, you know, I can just throw it away. I got the piping, and I got the tip bent so it doesn't come out. So I can just put it into there. And if it's too runny at first, I got a little bit of work time. And then I'm just gonna go from there. Oh, and these are new piping bags. They're, okay, I'm talking about all these sustainable, but my piping bags, sometimes I find, and maybe one of you guys know like a trick to it, but I find that sometimes that the color is sticking to them, and they can only do like a few washes before I really would consider them not something I want to work with. So that is pretty liquidy. So I got these ones, and I think that, you know, like, I mean, I can wash them a couple of times, but I might as well do this. There's like a whole huge thing of them, but I forgot to grab the thing that it came with. And so you twist this up, and there's this little clip that goes on the end, and I was like, that's gonna be amazing. So I'm gonna try and see how much it works with it. As you see, it seemed to hold up with the spoon, but once we get, oopsie, yeah, it's kind of a little bit still liquidy. But that's okay, we'll do that for the bottom layer and see if, kind of do a test. You know what, I actually think I'm gonna do something. We're gonna just do this little layer, and then we're gonna set it aside to, and I am gonna do a little bit of a sparkle in between the layers, as long as it's working with me and not getting too thick. Okay, so I'll set this aside. Kind of push down some of that so hopefully it doesn't leak out. All right, and so we're gonna take some Gold Coast Holiday, because you know, like I said, it depends on which version, the digital and that. Some of it looks like it's gold on a dress and some of it looks like it's green. I like the gold idea, so I'm gonna put this over. And I think with my lighting, I'll show you it up close. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of gold, so in between those layers, I'm gonna probably be covered in sparkle. And this is just mica, but I think it looks pretty cool to even just this way. And adds that little extra element in between. Do a little bit more, like right here on the edge, right there, definitely right here. Okay, so I'm gonna show you, see that? Ooh, huh? I'll put my lid on because I'm real famous for not doing that so properly. And then we'll see how we're doing. I feel like we're still a little loose, yeah. We'll try and see what we can do, because I know you guys don't want to be here forever, but we'll just do another 3. And then we'll do it again. And it's still just barely above the rim, so it's okay. But it's solid enough that you can see the peaks are starting to be more defined. Or I can lie and say, hey, this is perfect, this is just the way I want. I'm being honest with you. It's a little too fluidy than I want. But we're working with it the best we can. Okay. And then I'm gonna get a spatula and do, if I can, this a little harder to do with this plastic, it's a little resistant on it. But I think I'm gonna try and see if I can put it back into here that way, because we need to fill it up a little bit more again. See how this is doing. Get that in there. You know. Okay, with all seriousness, you know, a lot of us are David Bowie fans, but because of Labyrinth. But I must tell you, my favorite song of David Bowie's is not Magic Dance, it's actually Space Oddity. And I absolutely love that song, and I think Hero too is pretty good. So, you know, and then I think that one would be one that if you were to hear, that you don't realize that it's a David Bowie song. But it's fabulous, I must say. Okay, so I'm gonna set this over here. Work your magic powers and start hardening up while we're gonna do this again. I'm gonna sit there and just take that. Look at these brushes I got. Isn't it pretty cool? I think I got them from Ulta or something. But they were like Beauty and the Beast, and they resemble a rose. And I just love them. I mean, any fairy tales and girly stuff. I really love girly stuff. I mean, I'm not like where I live and breathe in pink and, you know, and stuff like that. But crafting, sewing, I mean, there is a lot of girl stuff I like. And God gave me one daughter. And then that daughter didn't like Barbies. That's okay. She liked Bratz dolls, and now she's definitely loves fashion talk and all those other things. But I mean, like, I was like Barbie as a kid, and so when I was like Barbie, she's like, ew, I don't like Barbies. They look funny. I'm just like, we get Ken, and you know, and she's just like, Mom, that's your thing, not mine. Well, that's okay. She played with dolls when she was little. And, you know, and things like that. But that's what grandbabies are going to be for. Because whatever grandma gives, even if they're not into it with their parents, they're into it with grandmas. Okay. Now, I must say, I feel that's a little bit better. And I'm going to do a 3, and then a 2, and then a 1. and it's gonna be pretty nice, big, high top. I think I'm still gonna try and do the little bit of gold in between. I think after the 3, I'm gonna do gold and a little bit of the glitters. Now I'm gonna tell you about the glitters. The glitters I have are just a different between sparkles. I have some that have a little highlight of purple, some that have a little highlight of blue. To be honest, until you look up close, you can't really see it, but you can when you do look, and so I figured I want to include that. So, all right, back with the gold. You know, a lot of work, especially making embeds, go into these soaps, and so anytime you see somebody's handmade soaps and go, because I get this all the time, any soaper knows this, I can buy soap for $2 at Walmart, and they can get it at the dollar store. Those are made by machines. I get it. My embeds are handmade. All the process and everything that I do, the thought, the design, and all that is done. And it, like with some of the embeds, especially when you paint, it takes hours to do. And if you think about hours, and you know, like I don't have to do it, but it's my passion. It's what I like. I think it makes it more special. And so I'm going to continue to do it. But for those that don't want to spend that kind of money, you can keep buying what you're going to buy, you know. That's to each their own preference. There's some people that will not spend a lot of money on makeup, and then there's some people that just have to have all these name brands. You know, I won't say the name brands because I don't know how much you can say things like that onto YouTube. So we'll just be err on the side of caution. So I'm going to do a light little bit of gold again, but just try and do it really lightly on here. So there's a little spot that's a little darker, but that's okay. I'm going to be covered in glitter. Okay, and the reason why I did it light is because I'm going to add a little bit of this now. This is a bunch of mixtures. I'll show it to you. I don't know if you can see all of them, but just different kinds of ones. So I'm going to add some of that onto there, and that's so it's also between. Okay, guys, just so you know, this is going to be heavily glittery soap, okay? Because glitter's magical, and I'm sticking to that. And so I'm going to do one layer here and see if I can go over a second time. Or I might just keep it like that. Might just touch up some areas. I don't want it to be too tall. Right there, maybe a little bit add. Okay, got a little bit left. I'll squeeze that and we'll see what we can have. Is might just be a sample one. And then I'm going to do this. And then I'll show you it up close. But I'm going to do I'm doing this now because I don't want to be putting this necessarily all over all the embeds. So, you know, not that the Goblin King, he was sparkly everywhere anyway. And so, and then I have this. And so I'll show you. Look at that. And so I'm gonna kind of wipe out a little bit of that on there. And then this one is gonna go onto the top. This is such a pretty gold one. And honestly, most of the time I go for the whites and the silvers. And so anytime I can use this gold glitter, I absolutely am so happy to use it. Heavy on the glitter, I did warn you. I promise there's white soap underneath that gold glitter. Okay. Then I am going to do this, center it. I'm gonna spray it, and I'm gonna have to wipe up the sides because there's glue. This is just 99% rubbing alcohol. And so, do you guys see that? Oh my gosh. I mean, just look at that, like in there. This is gonna be amazing. All right, so now with the embeds. We're gonna do one here. I've been just freehanding it and guessing lately, and I've been doing okay on it. But if I'm a little bit off, I have a single bar cutter. Or, oops, no. I might have to do a little rubbing after it cures a little bit on some of the balls to make sure. But it does not. Oh no! Okay, so I'm gonna do this to cover up that. Can't even see it. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, 9. Ah, it's coming together. It's a long video. I'm sorry, guys. Now, we're gonna do Ludo's friends on one side. Some of these are a little heavy, so I might jab them in a little bit more. The good thing about these kinds of things, lots of people put rocks, crystals, you've seen, I'm sure, pink quartz and amethyst and that on there. They come out. You know, use caution. Don't give this to a little one. You know, disclaimer, because kids put things, especially marbles, in their hands. This is my biggest rock. I tried to stay with the little ones. Let's see, we'll put him. So I love when Ludo calls his friends. I don't know I mean, other than if you were to say, I mean, Jareth, like everybody loves Jareth, and they love Sarah. Sometimes some people say Sarah's really whiny. It's, you know, personal taste. But I mean, I like Hoggle, okay, but to be honest with you, the Worm and Ludo, those, I mean, you can't not love Ludo. So that's how that side looks. And now we are gonna put our owls on. And so they're gonna just go be tucked into here. I think we're doing pretty good on lining everything up too. Now that I said that, I'm gonna hate myself in probably a minute. But while it's soft, you can kind of fix and work it if you make a mistake. Human, that's the thing with handcrafting. With anything you make by hand, it's never gonna be perfect. But that is what I honestly think it's cool. And it's made with love. You know what? To be honest, I'm loving this so much. I think there's a few family members that I want to give it to. I might end up have to make a whole nother one. All right. So again, the clocks, I'll show you the picture. I'm not necessarily saying it looks like the picture, but we tried to do it the best. The owl, the thing, the rock. We're gonna put the clock down here when it's cut. And there's another element that's not on here I almost forgot to tell you about. As long as it works. I think I might change up, like I might cut, I got this stamp with the Labyrinth, the cookie cutter, but this part is so high above this and I didn't realize it, but I might see if we can cut this outer side and just do this so this sticks in. We'll see. We'll see how we can do it. You know, give it to Guy and say, help me, but I'm hoping that we can do it without it breaking, but this will be on one side and then the clock will be on the other, and that will be the final step, which is the Labyrinth Soap. All right, and I'll show you up close. We got our owls, our glitter, and our rocks. And thank you guys for watching. I'm not going to adjust the camera because I know that's hard. Thank you for watching. The soap will be available mid-May in our Etsy store, which is Our Creation Lab. Follow us on our Facebook, Our Creation Lab. And feel free to like and subscribe and give me any ideas, tips, or comments. We'd appreciate the input. Thank you guys. Have a good day and stay safe.